Hey everybody, this is Joe Robinson, and in this video we're going to talk about ear training. Is ear training important? Now, my view on ear training is radically different to what I would consider to be the popular musician, YouTuber view on ear training. And what I'm talking about is everyone talks about learning intervals, learning to hear chord inversions and chord voicings. That totally is missing the point of what it really takes to develop your ear. So I hope you enjoy this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Like the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Most people think ear training is learning intervals with an app. There's all kinds of apps and programs that people sell to learn how to develop your ear. I don't think this is particularly important, believe it or not. I could not imagine Stevie Ray Vaughan sitting around listening to a major seventh interval saying, oh, that's a major seventh, or that's a first inversion of a minor seventh chord. I think the most important type of ear training is what I call musical self-awareness. It's learning how to hear what you actually sound like. It takes years to develop this. It takes a lot of focus and deliberate practice, and I'm going to describe how to do it and what it is. There are two majorly important components to learning an instrument, in my opinion, and remember, I'm an expert of my opinion. There's the physical act of playing. It's basically training your hands to play whatever you want them to play while staying relaxed. Simple as that. Then the second element is the musical self-awareness that's necessary to pull a great sound from your instrument. Because if I was to play Eric Clapton's guitar, I would still sound like me. And if Eric Clapton was to play my guitar, he would still sound like Eric Clapton. It's because our touch on the instrument gets shaped by our musical self-awareness, and our ear, our tastes, our influences channel through our practicing to shape our playing. So musical self-awareness is not dilly-dallying around with interval training apps and sitting there learning how to read music. I've always struggled to play music with your run-of-the-mill college-educated player. So many times they are great readers of music, but so often they don't know how to pull a great sound out of their instrument. And they don't know how to really groove or listen when playing to others. They don't know how to really focus. They're just not listening on the same level as someone who plays by ear. And I'm not talking about someone who just doesn't know how to read music and just hears their way through a song. I'm talking about someone who really listens and has a refined touch and a refined musical sensibility, the kind of refined musical sensibility that so many people who learn an instrument just miss. They just miss developing that ear. You can just tell they're not listening on as deep a level as you. And their dynamics are not there. Dynamics are such an important part of music. And dynamics come from a lot of musical self-awareness. I'm not talking about like the classical dynamics where you play this section louder and then you crescendo and decrescendo and this section's quieter. I'm talking about the way the notes groove and the way that one note pops out and one note holds back, and just that dance between the notes with regard to their dynamic levels. That's something that you hear in masterful players that is embedded within this musical self-awareness. They think that because they've learned all this music reading and interval training that they are better than they actually are. You can be extremely knowledgeable as a musician, but you can be a crappy player. And I don't mean to be like a judgy person saying they're a crappy player, because I think music is to be enjoyed by everybody. If you have a lot of musical knowledge, oftentimes that can be accompanied by a lack of actual musical self-awareness. I've really noticed that, and I'm sure many of you out there will understand what I mean. There's a lot of nerds out there who can read music well and can play by the book, but as soon as they get on stage with a real musician, and I'm talking a real musician in terms of someone who really has a refined sound and a refined touch and a refined musicality, who's paid their dues and performed and really worked with a lot of different people and developed that musical self-awareness. You can see who is real and who is fake I would suggest you spend serious time deliberately practicing, listening with intense focus to the way you sound, asking, am I in tune? Am I in time? Am I really grooving? Because time and groove are different things. Time is if you're in time with the metronome. Groove is how the music feels. Am I playing with real dynamics? Are there dynamics in every little phrase that I put forward? Am I hearing accurately what I actually sound like? Am I highlighting the elements of what I'm playing like I want them to be highlighted? Do I sound tense when I'm playing? These are all things that we practice listening for one by one, and we gradually develop our musical self-awareness. It is far more important, if you ask me, than learning how to construct a major seventh chord or learning how to distinguish between a major sixth or a major seventh. Focus on one thing at a time and learn to really deliberately practice and hear yourself. Ask for feedback from your teacher, your mentor, whoever you can. A great thing to do is to record yourself and really listen back critically. Ask yourself, am I in tune? Am I in time? How's my groove? Am I articulating the melody in a nice way? How are my dynamics? Do I sound like a real masterful, seasoned player? Or do I sound like someone who is still honing their craft? And that's totally okay to be anywhere along that spectrum. The thing that people get stuck on is that musical self-awareness. And if you can really spend the time developing that, I think you'll find that your playing improves, blossoms. You'll get the opportunity to collaborate with other players who are more experienced than you, and you'll learn from them. That is what real musical ear training is. That's what really playing with your ears is about. And that's where a great tone comes from, a great touch. You also have to have the physical element where you're playing with beautiful technique. But your ear and your musical self-awareness shapes everything you play and execute using your technique. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it to be helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Take it easy, and I wish you all the best.